Hello, my friends. Welcome to CJ Reads Books. I'm CJ, and today we will be talking about The Ashes and the Star-Cursed King by Carissa Broadbent. Look how pretty it is without that dust jacket. So, this one, I'm going to say I enjoyed it 30 times more than I enjoyed the first book. So, I had a lot more fun reading this one than I did the first book. But before we get into any more details, let's get into it. So let's start out with the fact that the hardcover, the pages are so thin. It was awful. Like I had to it was a struggle. But that put aside, this book was infinitely better than the first book. I'll tell you why. So in the first book, I had mentioned that there shouldn't have been a relationship aspect at all. That should have been nilled, void, and they should have just stayed friends. Now, that's my own opinion. I felt like it could have been a perfectly good fantasy novel without it. Without any spoilers, this book was good with the relationship aspect and was good with the spice aspect. Even though I don't like spice, y'all know that. But it had a purpose. There was a purpose placed in here. I felt like the first book, Miss Broadbent just put too much expectations in the characters and like too much at once, and it was just not a great read. And the characters were all jumbled up and all that stuff. This one was a little better. Now, first of all, it was harder to get into because she reintroduces so many characters at first at once. Later on in the book, it became a little better because we saw the characters that stayed and all that stuff. But during the beginning, the first like 4 or 5 chapters, I was struggling to DNF the book because I was just like, I can't remember who any of these characters are. But then once she introduced my favorite side character, it was game over. I was like, I'm in. So yeah, I guess I really am not a romance reader because I don't understand tropes. Like enemies to lovers to enemies to lovers to I don't get it. I don't freaking get it. Why would you love your enemy? And if somebody betrayed you, why would you want their trust back? That's just me. It is a fictional world, obviously, so I can't really answer too much for that. But why would you do that? In all of your sanity and all things pure and good, why would you do that to yourself? On page 34, I said, I kind of hate this. I spent too much time away from the series. I don't know who anyone is. And that didn't change for a good, 10% of the book. Like, I was so confused. I was so lost. Okay, so there are parts to the storyline, and whereas it is good to separate each of her thoughts into parts, I don't like that there's a separate prologue for all of them. Now, I did appreciate in the end when it all tied together, and I was like, oh, I kind of understand why she did that. And it's a good form of storytelling, don't get me wrong. It's just a prologue before every part, and each part has 8 to 10 chapters, which is rotated between Rain's point of view and Raya's point of view. So it kind of rotates between them. However, I'm okay with that because it gives me less characters to worry about in my mind. And whenever I read as the character, I envision myself as them. Whether it's a buff, muscular demigod dude, or a skinny half girl kind of person, you know. I envision myself in the character, putting myself in their shoes and stuff because it's fun to do. It's fictional, so it's fun to do. So the ending was really expected. Like, of course, there's battles, there's wars, blah blah blah. Get the throne. Um, without spoiling too much, a lot of battle scenes, a lot of war scenes. Y'all know how I feel about those. After Aragon, I can't do them anymore. Um, just because it's too much of here and there and here and there and then everywhere and then like all of a sudden it jumps and then like, oh no, he's dying and oh no, I gotta save him, and it's too much going on, yet it somehow is pertinent to the story, which is why you can't knock it too much. At the same time though, you know, I don't know how I feel about it. All in all, this book was pretty good. It was better than the first book. I'm going to give this book a 3 out of 5 stars just because it had the romance where it needed to have. I wasn't too egged out by any of the spicy scenes and etc. 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 But again, yeah, the first one would have done perfectly well without the relationship part, without the spicy scenes. I get it. I get why girls want spicy scenes, and it's an integral part of y'all's life. Okay, whatever. But the rest of us that don't like romance, I like a little more build up to it. You know, I don't like just spice. I like giving you flowers or buying you gifts. I don't know. I'm just old school romantic like that, I guess. But yeah, the story was way better done than the first one, and I did order the third one from the library, so hopefully I get that in soon and start reading it. But yeah, this second one actually made me want to finish up the last part because I found myself wanting to realize what it was all about. But yeah, that's my review. If you like what you see, leave me a comment. If you've read this book, read this series, tell me what you think about it. I would love to know. Um, like, share, subscribe, all that good stuff. In my description down below, I have the link for my Etsy store, which I sell blind dates with a book. I have my Discord link, which is just me, but it could be both of us. You can buy me a coffee, and I have my Twitch where I play video games. So thank you so much for joining me. Have a great day. Bye.